Welcome, everyone, to the Apoco-Larry podcast. I'm Steve. He is.
Oh, good job. He's Reverend Dr. Van Beek.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about pausing there. It was like I just had this moment of like, I don't remember what we do next. Folks,
we are old.
Yeah, we are old. Folks, thanks. We had a little sojourn last week. I was away on business, as they say. I was on assignment. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but tonight, my friend.
Did you use the hot tub up on the roof?
I did, actually. Yes, I did. It was lovely.
Did some guy on some other roof see you and your wife on that roof?
No.
No David experience.
No David experience. It's like, hey, that Bathsheba. Like, and I gotta think. Seriously, like.
I know. It's a crazy story.
Yeah, it's another one of the crazy stories that we read and we say,
but
this was God's own man.
Doesn't even come close to the craziness of what we're getting into today.
What a fantastic segue that is.
Oh yeah. Samson. The story of Samson it's crazy start to finish. It is just nuts. and the worst part is the story that you can hardly make sense of. Is one that every Sunday school kid knew.
Yeah.
Now they don't do Sunday school anymore, so I don't know if kids know about Samson.
Yeah.
But when I was first into the ministry, every kid knew the story of Samson. You go, oh boy, and people try to figure out this story. They try to explain it away. You can't explain.
No, that's great. No.
You just got to read it and live with it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start chapter 13. Like Larry will tell you this too. We're going to kind of blitz through the first chapter a bit here because it needs to be said, but there's not a lot of there's not some nuggets that we're going to pull from this that are going to be like, hey, I'll apply that to my daily life.
No, you do not want to apply this story to your daily life.
Yeah. But we do need to paint the picture of Samson. So
unless you're on a bench in New York City and you're singing, "Hey there, Delilah."
Nice. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Chapter 13, verse 1. Let's do this. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, like they did so many other times. So the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years.
There you go. Sorry about that.
No, go.
But there they are again. You remember that sin, sorrow, sin, servitude.
Yeah.
Sorrow, supplication, right?
Yeah.
Salvation, slumber, sin again.
Yeah.
And that's just what they did. Now they're with the Philistines. Now, don't forget, we're way, way, way before David.
Okay.
Yeah, the Philistines have been there for a long time, but they're going to be there a long time still.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Verse 2. A certain man of Zorah named Manoah, from the clan of the Danites, had a wife who was childless, unable to give birth. The angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant and will have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines."
Yeah, so he's from the tribe of Dan, which is, remember, that's the tribe that sinned before God, and are not included in the book of Revelation when he does the different tribes. But that's where he's from. Interesting story, eh? His mother's childless, and then she's given this thing, this don't drink anything, and no razor's ever going to touch his head, and he becomes a Nazarite. Now, a Nazarite vow was fairly common. There were two that I'm sure had Nazarite vows. Samson had a Nazarite vow, and Samuel. For their entire lives, and I know there was one other, and I can't remember him right now, but those two guys anyway had this vow for their entire lives. And Paul took the Nazarite vow for a short period of time, and then it ended, and then he could drink again and cut his hair and stuff. but it was a very common thing in Judaism.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 6. Then the woman went to her husband and told him, "A man of God came to me. He looked like an angel of God. Very awesome. I did not ask him where he came from, and he did not tell me his name." Oh, that sounds believable, right? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Sure he did. But he said to me, "You will become pregnant and have a son. Now then, drink no wine, nor other fermented drink, and do not eat anything unclean, because the boy will be a Nazarene of God from the womb until the day of his death."
Yeah, and now we tell all pregnant people not to drink alcohol while they're pregnant.
We tend to think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And don't smoke either, but they didn't mention that.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, so this angel of God comes, and Manoah doesn't. He wants to find out a little more.
Yeah. Then Manoah prayed to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I beg you to let the man of God you sent to us to come again to teach us how to bring up the boy who is to be born." God heard Manoah. Oops, sorry. And the angel of God came again to the woman while she was out in the field, but her husband Manoah was not with him. The woman hurried to tell her husband, "He's here, the man who appeared to me the other day." Manoah got up and followed his wife, and when he came to the man, he said, "Are you the man who talked to my wife?" "I am," he said. So Manoah asked him, "When your words are fulfilled, what is to be the rule that governs the boy's life and work?" The angel of the Lord answered, "Your wife must do all that I have told her. She must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, nor drink any wine, nor other fermented drink, nor eat anything unclean. She must do everything I have commanded her." Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, We'd like you to stay until we prepare a young goat for you." The angel of the Lord replied, "Even though you detain me, I will not eat any of your food, but if you prepare a burnt offering, offer it to the Lord." Manoah did not realize it was an angel of the Lord, it says in brackets.
Yeah.
Then Manoah inquired of the angel of the Lord, "What is your name, so that we may honor you when your word comes true?" He replied, "Why do you ask my name? It is beyond understanding." Then Manoah,
that's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Or it's a nice way of saying, "You're not that smart, Manoah." Like, sorry.
No. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
If it was you and me, they would have told us the name.
Have you considered my friends Larry and Steve?
Larry and Steve, you're morons.
It's very much an inside joke, folks. Sorry. Then Manoah took a young goat together with the grain offering and sacrificed it on the rock to the Lord. And the Lord did an amazing thing while Manoah and his wife watched. As the flame blazed up from the altar toward heaven, the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame. Seeing this, Manoah and his wife fell with their faces to the ground. When the angel of the Lord did not show himself again to Manoah and his wife, Manoah realized it was the angel of the Lord.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story in some ways, right? And we should, well, we might as well finish the chapter. We are doomed to die.
Yes, which actually is something we've said a lot of times in our life, and not even talking about this story. "We are doomed to die," he said to his wife. "We have seen God." But his wife answered, "If the Lord meant to kill us, he would have not accepted a burnt offering and a grain offering from our hands, nor shown us all the things, nor or now told us this." The woman gave birth to a boy and named him Samson. He grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir on him while he was in Manadan, between Zorah and Eshtal.
Yeah, and so this angel of the Lord. Now, some people, when they talk about the angel of the Lord, they think that's a pre-incarnate form of Christ. And I've never been big on this whole thing with pre-incarnate forms of Christ.
Right.
But it's more than just an angel, because it's the angel of the Lord that's come. So he's very important, at least, right? And they make him this food, and he says, "I'm not going to eat it, but God will take it up," and he takes it up.
Yeah.
And then the angel disappears in that flame.
Yeah.
You know, it's very cool. The whole thing is very cool.
It is.
Remember, Hebrews says he makes his servants winds and flames of fire. The word seraph from seraphim means burning one.
Oh, okay, nice.
So there's a whole thing with the idea of God being in the fire. Remember Moses in the burning bush, there's the fire. So it's a very important piece. But anyway, the Spirit of God comes upon Samson.
Samson.
Not son of Sam.
Samson and son.
Yes. and he sounds like he's a wonderful little kid, but then you start to find out more in the next chapter.
Yeah. We'd like to say that we could stop reading there, but that really wouldn't be telling the story of Samson. So let us, in quoting Dickens, let us turn another page.
Oh, yes.
Chapter 14, verse 1. Samson went down to Timnah, and there he saw a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife.
Yeah, weird relationship, eh?
Yeah.
Get her for me as my wife. Now, remember, the parents did that kind of thing in those days.
Right.
But usually the son didn't come and say, hey.
This one, over here.
Yeah. Grab this one for me.
His mother and father replied, Isn't there an acceptable woman among your relatives or among all our people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife? But Samson said to his father, Get her for me. She's the right one for me. What?
Yes.
His parents did not know that this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines, for at that time they were ruling over Israel.
Now that's the beginning of crazy, right? Everything's been going normal up to here. But all of a sudden, he wants to marry outside of Israel, which is really improper.
Yeah.
Right? And this is of God.
Yes.
Yeah. And, God does what God does.
Yes. Because later on, the Israelites will literally get killed for having a foreign wife, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
We read about that. We read about that in Ezra and Esther.
Okay, I was thinking, I remember this story. Yes, okay. Yeah. Verse 5. So Samson goes down to Timnah together with his father and mother. As they approached the vineyards of Timnah, suddenly a young lion came roaring toward them. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so he tore the lion apart with his bare hands as he might have torn a young goat.
Which I don't think it would be easy to tear a young goat either.
I don't think I could do that either.
No.
But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. Seriously, I'd be going down bragging. You will not believe what happened to me. It's so crazy.
I am unreal.
That's right. After we actually did a selfie with it on TikTok or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, when he went down, then he went down and talked with the woman, and he liked her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but he saw her, so clearly this was all about physical attraction. Then he decided to talk with her and think, she's not all that bad after all. So
yeah.
Okay.
She knows stuff.
Yeah. Sometime later, we're at verse 8 now. Sometime later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass. And in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped the honey out with his hands and ate as he went along. That's not gross at all.
No. And we don't know what sometime later is. It's still carcass. It's not the skeleton of the lion.
Yeah.
It's still the carcass of the lion. Yeah.
Absolutely gross.
Yeah.
When he rejoined his parents, he gave them some. Hey, gave them some. Would you like this honey I scooped out with my hands?
Yeah. But he did not tell him he got it from the carcass of a lion.
Yes, that's right. I'm good, son. You don't wash your hands after you use the bathroom. Fine. Okay. He gave them some, and they too ate it. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the lion's carcass. Why this story is in here, who knows, right? But there's a point, I'm sure.
Oh, there's a point coming right away. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now his father went down to see the woman. And there Samson held a feast, as was customary for young men. When the people saw him, they chose 30 men to be his companions.
Now, these would be 30 Philistine men, remember?
30 Philistine men to be his companions.
Yeah, these won't be Israelites. They'll be Philistines.
So, verse 12, he says, get this, let me tell you a riddle. Samson said to him, if you can give me the answer within 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. Tell us your riddle, they said. Let's hear it. As they eagerly rush in like fools.
Yes. And by the way, riddle telling, now in the days of TVs and music and internet and all that, we don't do a lot of riddles. But riddles was a very common thing. Do you remember Lord of the Rings? When Bilbo does riddles with Schmeagol or Gollum, I guess Schmeagol,
Yeah.
and beats him out of the ring,
Right.
or doesn't beat him out of the ring. Schmeagol doesn't get the ring because he can't answer the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then riddles are also a thing that people get. You get into the rhythm of a riddle, and so you could figure out riddles. But most of them were things that you'd heard before, so you remembered and knew. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's no way you can know this riddle unless someone tells it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so verse 14, he replied, out of the eater something to eat, out of the strong something sweet. For 3 days they could not answer. On the 4th day they said to Samson's wife, coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death.
Yes, so the Philistines were Klingons, really.
My gosh. Did you invite us to steal our property? Wow.
Yeah, these 30 guys are absolute jerks, really.
Then Samson's wife threw herself on him, sobbing, you hate me. You don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer. I haven't even explained it to my mother or father, he replied. So why should I explain it to you? She cried the whole 7 days of the feast, and on the 7th day he finally told her because she continued to press him. She in turn explained the riddle to her people.
And people of their time, right? People of their time. I haven't even told my mother and father. Why would I tell you? We would never think that way in this day and age. Yeah. Like we would think, well, she's your wife. Of course you would tell her stuff that you wouldn't tell anybody else. But it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
Which you're going to find out in the next few verses how different it is.
Yeah.
Really.
Wow. Yeah. Right? Like, yeesh. Okay. 18. Before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson said to them, if you had not plowed with my heifer, you would have not solved my riddle.
And there's another little piece that of the whole idea of chattels and property and husbandry came from that whole idea that the women was kind of belonged to you, right?
Yeah.
So we would not tell this to people nowadays. They would not like it very much.
No, you should not plow with the heifer.
and I mean, to us and probably even to people then, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
The guy was a jerk here. Yeah.
All right, 19.
But this is what God wants him to do. That's the hardest part of this. This is where God is leading him. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
So crazy, right?
Yeah.
So crazy. Okay, verse 19. And the Spirit of the Lord powerfully came upon him. He went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 other men, stripped them of everything, and gave their clothes to those who had explained the riddle.
I don't know if he had to kind of size them up first. Oh, you would fit him. Okay, I'm going to kill you.
So are you extra large? Yeah, come over here for a second. This won't take long. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home, and Samson's wife was given to one of his companions who had attended him at the feast.
Yeah, so you feel like there is a piece in here, but you almost feel like this was a bit of a plan because she was given so quickly to someone else, right?
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? But it was God's plan to rile up the Philistines.
What a crazy, crazy start to this story.
And it gets worse. Before it gets better, it actually gets worse.
Oh. So you're saying that we're at halftime right now?
Yeah, we've still got what are we on? 14. We got to go all the way to 16. So we got a couple more chapters of the life of this man. Yeah.
Well, thank you, my friend, for illuminating this a bit, too, especially that story about Manoah, right, and the angel. That's interesting to think that this is the seraph that he sees, and this being that ascends into the fire, and then this.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. But that's what the seraphim were.
Yeah. And then this whole thing that God has ordained something that is explicitly prohibited.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Eating stuff out of a carcass, that would be really wrong too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing right going on. He wants to marry a Philistine, and she just turns him. She just throws him right under the bus.
Yeah, yeah.
Which makes the next 2 chapters even more strange when we get there. So,
Well, thank you for that, my friend. That was fantastic. Okay, like Larry and I've said, we're at the halfway point. We've reached halftime, and you think, oh, okay, so Samson, you're weird. You're nuts. Like Larry said, just wait. More is coming. More is coming. Folks, as always, we so appreciate you coming along on the ride with us. We so appreciate you just journeying as we go through these. We find this fun to do. We're glad that you listen in. Until next time, I was Steve, he was Larry, and this was the Apoco-Larry Podcast.